From the Ministry of the Presidency in Georgetown, this is This Week with the President, with Janelle Carter.
Welcome to another edition of This Week with the President, a weekly news magazine which provides you with an in-depth look at the policies, programs, and work of the President of Guyana in his quest to realize the good life for all Guyanese. I'm your host, Janelle Carter. In the news this week, President Granger pardons 11 mothers for Christmas. President takes government to the people with first public day meeting, and new Chief Justice sworn in. Christmas is a time for caring and sharing with those that matter the most. And thanks to a presidential pardon, 11 mothers who have been incarcerated for non-violent, non-cocaine, and non-trafficking in person offenses will be given a second chance to contribute to society. And most importantly, they will be home in time to spend Christmas with their children and families.
My emphasis is on women first, mothers first. Women who are mothers and also parents of young children. I want them to be home for Christmas. Those are the persons who would have been sentenced for non-violent offenses and offenses which do not involve trafficking in persons or trafficking in narcotics. So I hope that they'll be home for Christmas. So in a way that is, I would say, an act of compassion. So I know there have been some lawyers who have criticized the decision, but I'm entitled to some compassion at Christmas time.
It is hoped that each of these mothers who have been granted a second chance will use this opportunity wisely and not reoffend. Importantly, reoffenders are eligible for pardons. Earlier this year, President Granger had pardoned a number of young people at Guyana's 49th independent anniversary. This, along with the Christmas time pardon, is likely to become a tradition in Guyana. In other news, President David Granger and the Ministry of the Presidency continues to demonstrate the administration's pledge to work towards the pursuit of a good life for all Guyanese, with the first ever Public Day Forum hosted by the Ministry of the Presidency at the Square of the Revolution. Noting that 1 year ago he was on the picket line advocating for the rights of the people and for their voices to be heard through the holding of the long overdue local government elections, President Granger said that it is indeed amazing to see what is being done a year later for the people of Guyana.
We're not trying to upset the ministerial system or the government system, but we are bringing government to the people by finding out what your needs are and helping you to solve those problems. So this is one of a series of exercises that will be taking place in other parts of the country and at other times of the year as we go through the next 5 years. The important thing is that at the end of the day, every Guyanese citizen must feel that it belongs to a country, it belongs to a government, it belongs to a community and a society which cares about him or her.
The objective of Public Day is to provide citizens with an opportunity to raise matters of concern or issues they wish to have addressed with the government, in keeping with the President's campaign promise to take the government to the people. This exercise, which will be hosted regularly, will not only cater to citizens in Georgetown and its immediate environs, but will be taken across the country, the President said. Meanwhile, in an invited comment, Minister of State Joseph Harmon described the event as very successful. He said the team at the Square of the Revolution was able to advise and assist more than 300 persons who had various issues. Minister Harmon said persons came from all areas of Guyana, including East Bank Essequibo, Linden, Georgetown, and Berbice. Some of the issues addressed included citizenship, passports, immigration, scholarship, social cohesion, public service, land, health, water, and street lights. Some matters were referred to other ministers and ministries for redress. On Wednesday, December 16, President Granger swore in eminently qualified Justice Janet Cummins Edward to serve as acting Chief Justice following her recent appointment to the post. It should come as little surprise to the nation that a woman has been appointed to that office, as President Granger is widely known for supporting and promoting the equality of women in all fields. Justice Cummins Edward is the second woman to hold the office of Chief Justice. The first was Justice Desiree Bernard.
I, Yana Titesino Cummins Edwards, do hereby solemnly declare that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana, that I will faithfully perform the functions of the Chief Justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and I do so swear, so help me God.
Justice Cummins Edwards replaces Justice Ian Chang, who proceeded on pre-retirement leave on December 15. She was nominated by the government as the most qualified candidate for the position. Justice Cummins Edwards said she already has a plan to address some of the pressing challenges facing the judiciary.
I intend to look at the state of affairs right now, and I intend to deal with backlog cases. I intend to deal with matters affecting the judiciary, the smooth functioning of the judiciary, and I intend to have all hands on board for us to work together.
The issue of backlogged court cases is one which the coalition administration had committed to addressing, and it is also foremost on the new Chief Justice's list of priorities.
Backlog is a problem that affects all judiciaries. It's nothing that is unique, but it's something that has to be handled consistently, and all of us, I intend for all the judges and myself to tackle the issue. At the end of the day, it's my view that it's a team effort, and we can do it.
Justice Cummins Edwards, who began her law career in 1988, is a seasoned Court of Appeal judge with years of experience under her belt. President David Granger says only trained teachers should enter the education system, and over time, even they must upgrade their qualifications. In his keynote address at an awards ceremony organized by the Guyana Teachers Union to honor a few stalwart educators, both retired and serving, for their sterling contribution to the nation's children. In his address, the president said there can be no place for untrained teachers in the education system, and even trained teachers must undergo some level of retraining to upgrade their skills so they can keep up in an environment that is constantly changing as a result of technology.
There really is no place for untrained teachers in the education system, and it is a challenge to ensure that those who are in the system are retrained and therefore empowered to perform their professional duties. Every teacher entering the education system must be trained, and every teacher in the system who has not been trained must be trained.
In addition to the issue of retraining trained teachers, President Granger spoke of the high number of teachers who are dismissed annually for indiscipline, underperformance of a large percentage of students at the local and regional assessments and examinations. He added that reversing this situation is one of the education system's main challenges.
The teachers are the foundation on which a good education system is built. And a good education system is the foundation on which any nation is built. Teachers are the most important element in the country's education system. They are the foundation of the system because of the critical roles they play and because of the heavy responsibilities they bear. Teachers are responsible for the transmission of knowledge, the transmission of values, the transmission of attitudes. They serve as role models. Teachers support the maintenance and the safeguarding of the reputation of schools and of the standards of society. Teachers are key to ensuring that there is a sound learning environment in our country. The school system would collapse, of course, without teachers. It goes without saying. And the country will collapse without the school system. That much is known.
The president also condemned the indiscipline and inappropriate conduct demonstrated by some teachers over the years. Such conduct, he said, has no place in the teaching profession. Over the next 5 years, the government will be introducing measures to curb the rate at which primary school children are failing to qualify to enter secondary school or are dropping out of our primary schools and secondary schools every year. The government's aim is to increase attainment so that young people can look forward to finding satisfactory jobs when they leave school. There is no better gift to give a child than that of a sound education. And since his ascension to office, President David Granger has been an untiring, relentless advocate for every child in school policy. In keeping with this, he has sought to provide some basic necessities to ensure that every child has access to quality education through his boats, buses, and bicycles program. At 2 separate functions over the past weekend, school-aged children were given gifts of bicycles to attend school. Meanwhile, the Barakar community in Kanji, Region 6, has been promised a school boat, even as calls were made for the community to play a greater role in molding the nation's children. During his attendance at a Christmas party for children enrolled in the Sophia Literacy Program, the president announced that his administration will make available an annual subvention to set up a permanent center to ensure the survival of the literacy program.
I want to see you with good furniture, with good libraries, with good laboratories. So you must be able to have your computers and doing your training, your classroom training. So from this year, December, you'll be getting a special subvention to allow you to have adequate furniture, adequate facilities to carry out the work that this important learning project has been doing.
The head of state also reminded children about the importance of education and called on them to utilize the opportunities available to them. The literacy program, the president said, should be used as a stepping stone for advanced educational opportunities, which are also available. All these initiatives are aimed at ensuring that they have quality opportunities, he said. In addition, 21 bicycles were handed over to secondary school students who are enrolled in the program. Mr. Komal Singh, managing director of Geico Construction Incorporated, donated the bicycles to the boat, bus, and bicycle program managed by the Ministry of Social Cohesion. It has been a packed week for the president, even as Guyanese are in the height of Christmas preparations. The president himself has been caught up in a few activities, even as he goes about the business of running the country. Let's take a look inside the president's diary. Yet again, the David Granger administration has shown that the overall well-being of military servicemen and women is of utmost importance. On Tuesday, President Granger announced a contribution of $1 million to the Guyana Police Force's Fallen Heroes Foundation and another $1 million to the Force's Scholarship Fund. On this note, the head of state declared that while the force has faced significant challenges, it has turned the corner, and government will continue to ensure that adequate resources are provided to ensure the security and safety of Guyana. Thursday and Friday, the president partook in the traditional serving of Christmas lunch to the Guyana Defense Force soldiers at Base Camp Stevenson and the headquarters Base Camp Guyana, respectively. Speaking at both functions, the president emphasized the importance of the force to the nation. Referencing Operation Dragnet, President Granger noted that next year will be a busy year for the GDF, even as they remain on guard to ensure the security of Guyana. On December 15, President Granger accredited Mr. David Pendergast as the new non-resident High Commissioner of Jamaica to Guyana. The High Commissioner Pendergast reiterated Jamaica's commitment to strengthening its bilateral ties with this country, noting that the two countries first established diplomatic relations in 1969, 3 years after Guyana gained its independence from Britain.
We have worked together at the bilateral and regional levels and have collaborated as members of CARICOM. At the multilateral level, we have worked together within the framework of the UN, the OAS, ACP group of states, as well as the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States and several other fora. I wish to reiterate Jamaica's steadfast commitment to working with the government of Guyana in deepening the ties that bind us.
In accepting the letters of credence, President Granger spoke highly of the commonalities that characterize both Guyana and Jamaica, particularly as it relates to integration.
The vision which brought our leaders together and the common values to which our people adhere, those of democracy, respect for fundamental human rights, sustainable development, and the preservation of territorial integrity. These values over the years have served as a common bond between our nations.
Mr. Prendergast previously served as Jamaica's High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago. On Thursday, the Rotary Club of Georgetown inducted President David Granger as honorary member of the club during a courtesy call at the Ministry of the Presidency. The group was led by club's president, Mrs. Elizabeth Cox, vice president, Mr. Clyde Diaz, Rotary Foundation director, Mr. Pearson Burt-Smith, president-elect 2016-2017, Ms. Lisa Foster, past president, Mr. Ronald Burt-Smith, club member, Colonel Christine King, and club secretary, Mr. Ralph Broussard. The club's president said the aim of the meeting was to garner the administration's support for their humanitarian effort. The saying goes, behind every successful man there is a strong woman. As cliché as this saying can be, it is certainly true of Guyana's First Lady, Mrs. Sandra Granger. Mrs. Granger continues to work assiduously to ensure that women, senior citizens, and the vulnerable among us are able to enjoy that good life. This Christmas, she has done more than her fair share of spreading cheer to those groups of people. Let's take a look. On Saturday last, Mrs. Granger joined with officials from the Georgetown Mayor and City Council to spread Christmas cheer to close to 300 children at City Hall. This is the first event of its kind that the council has hosted in over 20 years. The children, accompanied by their parents and guardians, were treated to lots of goodies and had the opportunity to meet and take photos with the main attraction, Santa Claus. On Sunday, over 200 senior citizens from in and around Georgetown were treated to a grand Christmas luncheon hosted by the Bernice Mansell Foundation. The elderly persons were delighted by the attendance of the First Lady, Mrs. Sandra Granger, who helped organize and serve the meals. The event was held at Park Rain, Rahmans Park, Houston. Also on Wednesday, the First Lady teamed up with the Salvation Army and the Minister of Social Protection, Mrs. Paula Lawrence, to bring cheer to over 300 senior citizens with the distribution of Christmas food hampers. The annual event saw more than 1,500 food hampers being handed out at the Salvation Army's building on Alexander Street, Georgetown. Then on Friday, the First Lady hosted a luncheon on the lawns of State House to honor over 200 senior citizens from various homes across Georgetown.
I think we need to strengthen again the habit of respect and honoring our seniors. And I think one of the least things we could do at this time of the year or at any time was to honor them, and since this is Christmas, share a meal with them.
Among the homes which were invited and present are the Uncle Eddie's Home, the Archer's Home, the Dharmshala, St. Joseph Home for the Elderly, and the Palms Geriatric Home. Thank you for joining us this week. For regular updates on the Ministry of the Presidency, visit our website www.motp.gov.gy. Like our Facebook page, Ministry of the Presidency, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MOTP Guyana. I take this opportunity on behalf of the Ministry of the Presidency and the President himself to wish you all a Merry Christmas. I'm Janelle Carter. May you all enjoy the season of giving. Goodbye.